Following are instructions for installing a Bradley Navigator thermostatic mixing valve. First, if an optional cabinet has been provided, install this either on the surface of the wall or recessed into the wall. If the cabinet is being recessed into the wall, a hole will need to be cut into the wall of the appropriate size, the cabinet inserted inside of that hole, and then secured down by screws. A faceplate or flange will then fit over the opening between the wall and the cabinet and caulked in place to finish it off. A surface-mounted cabinet can be screwed directly onto the surface of the wall through the holes provided inside the cabinet. Once the cabinet has been installed, position the valve on the bracket provided inside of the cabinet, sliding one side in and then rotating the other side in. You can now connect the hot and cold supply lines to the bottom of the mixing valve and the outlet from the top of the mixing valve. Be sure to flush all lines before making this final connection. To set the temperature, you will need to remove this screw from the top of the mixing valve with a slotted screwdriver. Then insert a 5/32 Allen wrench into the top of the mixing valve in order to adjust the temperature. Turn in a clockwise direction for a colder water temperature and a counterclockwise direction for a warmer water temperature. Once the temperature has been set, you will test the mixing valve to make sure that it is functioning properly. Begin by starting to flow water from the valve and then adjust accordingly. Next, test to make sure that the valve shuts down when the cold water is shut off as it's supposed to. To do this, turn off the cold water supply to the mixing valve and check the water outlet. If the water coming out has substantially decreased, then you know that this portion of the test has been successfully completed and the valve is working properly. Now repressurize the cold side. Let the temperature stabilize and then repeat this on the hot side of the mixing valve. Close the hot side supply line and check the flow of water from the outlet pipe. As shown on this emergency mixing valve, we want cold water to continuously flow from the fixture. If that happens, then your valve is functioning properly and you can reopen the hot water line. For a high-low or standard valve, your test should display a different result from an emergency valve. For a high-low or standard valve, when you reduce or close the cold or hot flow to the mixing valve, the valve should respond by shutting off all flow from the outlet side. All Bradley high-low, standard, and emergency mixing valves come with a 3/4 inch NPT connection port on the cold side of the mixing valve for a return line. This connection port can be assembled for the return line feeding the cold side of the mixing valve if desired.